Hey everybody, and welcome back to the board meeting. Today I'm going to be reviewing two different games that came out in 2022 that I didn't get to play until earlier this year. And so of course they didn't make my top 10 lists of 2022. Maybe they would have. We'll find out. But these are two very popular games that made a lot of reviewers' top 10 lists of 2022. I was very excited to get my hands on both of these games and getting to play them. So let's just jump into these two games. We'll start with the first one. This is Trekking Through History. This is a history-themed board game where you are going to be time traveling. You're going to go back and visit different events in history, and you're going to be trying to visit these events in chronological order. So maybe you might go to 5000 BC, then you go to 1000 BC, then you go to year 100, then you go to 1500, then you go to 1995, something like that. But you're going to try to make these treks and have very long treks. If you ever go back in time from a previous card, so if you went from 1950 to 3000 BC, you'd have to start a new trek. You're going to score points at the end of the game for how long each of your treks are. You're going to score points for different reasons as well. So you're going to be drafting these cards in a sense that are on this particular board. And the board is actually made out of matte, which I really do like. And so you're going to be picking these. These cards are also going to have some sort of resources printed on them. You're going to take those resources and put them on your own personal player board in the particular slots that those types of resources go. And whenever you cover up points with particular resources, you get those points. And they might have a line. If you fill out this line with all of these resources, you might get 10 points. So you're going to score points in that way by collecting resources as well. Also, that you're going to get the resource that's underneath the card. Underneath these cards are going to be sliding along this game mat, and underneath each slot is going to be a different type of resource. So you're going to get those bonus resources as well. The other thing that you're going to be paying attention when drafting these cards is going to be how much time it costs. Those are going to be what you have to basically pay in order to get these cards. And the time cost, it might be 4 or 5, anywhere from 1 to 5, I think. And you're going to move your I think it's a stopwatch or watch on this time track. And the person who's furthest back on the time track is going to be the next player to go. So there's a fluctuating turn order in this game. One player might take 2 or 3 turns in a row, depending on what other cards people have taken. If they've taken the cards that get lots of resources, they're going to move pretty far on that track. And you're going to go around this track basically 3 times. There's 3 different rounds, 3 different eras that you're going to play as. Each era ends when everybody reaches the 12 o'clock on that time track. And then you're going to discard your card and all the resources on it. You're going to get a new card with different resource track sort of thing on there that you're going to score each and every single round. At the end of the game, you're going to score depending on how long each of your treks are. If you have a trek of 10, it might be worth 30 points or something, and maybe your trek of 3 is only worth 2 points. The longer your treks are, the more points you're going to get. I really, really like this game. I thought the decisions, when I first played this game, I really, really liked it. I was thinking I was going to give it a 9 rating. I really like the history theme on it because I like history-themed games. This is one that I would recommend for teachers to have in classrooms. But I thought the decisions were really crunchy and thinky of how you're doing it. But then as I kept playing the game, my rating was dropping a little bit each time. And I'm not saying this is a bad game at all. I think it doesn't have the greatest replay value. I'm going to end up giving this game a 7, which is pretty low compared to a lot of other people's ratings of this game. But I think it's just because I wasn't having as much fun, the other times that I was playing it for the replay value. Every time it felt like those crunchy decisions that I thought I was making at the start of when I first learned this game, it became almost automated for me by the 3rd or 4th play of this, where I was like, yeah, obviously I should take this card. So I wasn't even having to think on my turn. It was, okay, I should take that card, obviously, or I need to take that card because it's the end of the round. I want to get these resources before we go into the next era, sort of thing. So it felt like those crunchy decisions kind of went away, where it became more obvious choices for me the more I play this game. So I just don't think it's got like a ton of replay value. I think it's a really good sort of gateway style game. It is a lot lighter than I was expecting this game to be. I would say this game is like kind of a light medium weight sort of game. But yeah, it's going to end up getting a 7 rating for me, a really solid game, but it wasn't as great as I first initially thought it was going to be. It just kind of kept dropping for me until it reached that 7 point. So let's go on to the next game that we're going to be talking about today, and that is Akropolis. This is a small, simple, gateway-style, tile-laying, city-building game where you're going to be drafting these tiles that are in a line. And these tiles, you're going to be taking them, and they kind of have 3 different points on them, 3 different types of things on these cards. There's going to be quarries, which aren't going to score you any points. There are going to be plazas, which are going to be multipliers and then there's going to be districts. Those are going to be how you're going to score most of your points. So the quarries are going to go into your city, and whenever you build on top of a quarry, you get these stones. These stones are going to be how you're going to kind of skip certain tiles, because the tiles are in a line, and the first tile you take is free, the second tile costs 1 stone, the third tile costs 2, so you're going to pay to skip certain tiles. It's kind of like Century Spice Road, but these stones aren't going to go onto those tiles for other players to take. They just go back into the general supply. So you're going to take that tile and put it into your board connecting to your city somehow. And if you build on top of quarries, you're going to get stones. The other things, those plazas are going to have some kind of stars. They're going to have some stars on them for certain colored districts. And they might be a 2-star for the purple. So now all your purples that are going to score are going to get a 2 times multiplier. So if you have 2 purple tiles and you have 2 times multiplier, you're going to get 2 times 2 for 4 points for that. It's kind of got this King Domino scoring system in it where you're trying to find like the biggest multipliers, because you can stack those multipliers. You could get like a 10 times multiplier. So, and all these districts that you're putting in, they're going to score. They have different kind of scoring conditions that you have to meet in order to score those tiles. The blue residential tiles, you want to make like the largest contiguous group of these blue residential tiles together. The purple tiles need to be all surrounded on all sides. The red barracks tiles want to be at the edge of the city. The yellow markets don't want to be touching any of the other yellow markets. And so you're trying to get these large multipliers and get these lots of scoring ways. And you can build up on top of other tiles in this game, but you're kind of covering up other tiles that might be scoring. But the higher you put these tiles, the higher you build them, they're going to score more points. Because on the first level, those districts are just like a base of 1. If you build onto a second, that district is now considered a 2. If you build on the third level, that districts are considered like a 3. So you can score some really big points, but you're trying not to cover up other tiles that are going to score you points. You're trying to cover up those quarries to get you stones. And so this game, this kind of had the opposite trajectory as Trekking Through History did, where at the beginning I was like, okay, this is a nice solid game with 6.5 or 7, and the more I played it, the more I end up liking it. I'm going to settle down with this game with an 8 rating, one that I really like. I really like the crunchy decisions of this, but it's a very easy game to teach. You can teach this game in probably a minute or two. It's pretty simple. It's very fast. It's a 20 to 30 minute sort of filler type game, but I think you have some really good, fun, interesting decisions to make. And every game I've played of this, I've kind of gone like a different route, just depending on which tiles are coming out when, and how I've built these, and if I'm going to start building upwards, or I'm going to start like just build wide rather than upward. So you've got some interesting decisions in this game for it being such a light game. I would say this is definitely in the light gateway style games. This is one that I'm really excited to keep in my collection and show more people. It's easy to break out. I won't be forgetting the rules anytime. I can break this out in 3 months and still remember all the rules for this game. So yeah, it's going to get an 8 rating. I really like this game. I like the decision spaces in it for it being such a simple game. So yeah, 7 for Trekking Through History and an 8 for Akropolis. I think they're both really solid games, ones that I pretty much recommend for you to be checking out for sure. that'll conclude this video, so make sure to leave some comments down below if you've played these games, if you haven't, if you're excited to see them. If you have played them, what are your current thoughts on them? Do you disagree or agree with me? Either way, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe to see more weekly content from me, Shane, at the board meeting in the future. Hope you all have an amazing day. Take care.